Hey everybody, this is Anadad71, and I'm making a video on my NASCAR lineup optimizer, multi-tab lineup optimizer, and a game simulator. So I want to go through this as quick as I can, not to hold you up. So let's take a look here. The original optimizer, which is basically I would use for cash games. You position your name, your salary, your points. You can lock plays if you so choose. You know what you do is you come over here, go up to this top one if you want to clear it out, put a 0, and click it down with the little X. That'll clear them out. Click Start Your Engines to run it. Give it a moment. It's thinking through. Now you see I have a 1 here for Joey Logano. There he is. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to notice, that you can lock players in on this. Now, you've seen probably my other optimizers. We can do that with. I do that with virtually every optimizer I make. So you always have choices above what the machine wants. You know, we'll run it without Joey Logano locked just so I can show you what I mean. And now you see he's not there because we didn't lock him. All right, so if we put in these in, we just click Start Your Engines. It thinks it through, gives you the optimal lineup. Straightforward. It's an optimizer. Let's take a look at the lineup tab. Okay, over here we have, we put in the position, the name, the salary, and the points. Very similar. And we take these percentages. Now, all things being equal, this amount of drivers on this slate are all worth 16.67%, roughly, give or take, to equal 600%. You can see it's 600.12. It came a little over. But this math, you want it to be close to 600. It needs to basically equal 600 because you want 100% of each player for each position, and there are 6 positions. So that's how you mathematically get to that. Now, let's say you didn't want everybody being even, but you wanted a lot of Martin Truex. Well, you could change him to 20%, 30%, whatever you'd like. And as long as it equals 600% over here, it doesn't matter. You could put him at 500%. Not really. But you could put him at like 3 times more, 4 times more, whatever you wanted, over everybody else. And as long as these numbers all came out to 600%, it'll be fine. You just go ahead and run it. You come over to here, and there's a multi-lineup tab. You click it. And it just gives you the lineups. It's pretty cool. It's straightforward. It just, you click it. Every time you click it, it's going to give you a different set of lineups. I have a blank sheet over here. What I do normally is I take these lineups right here, like this. I copy them, bring it over to here, put in paste. Then I take the points, and I'll sort them largest to smallest. And you take like the top 20. If you're going to do like a quarter arcade, for example, I think it allows 20 players. So you take these guys right here. Those are the guys that would be in your lineup. You could put it right here. And what you would do then is you would just, what you need to do is go into the DraftKings once again, get the CSV that has the, you'd go into the lineups tab on DraftKings. And from there you would go into the CSV section, print it. And that gives you, similar to the CSV that comes out when you click the name, the names for the players on the slate, except it has their IDs. And you just run a VLOOKUP. I could teach a course on how to do a VLOOKUP if you don't know. I think I might even have shown it in a couple videos. But if you didn't know it, I would show you in a heartbeat. It takes 1 split second. And you VLOOKUP their numbers. Like here, equals VLOOKUP. This guy here, what's his name? William Byron, okay? And on that CSV list, his name would be there. We'd just drop in these things. And you would do it for all of these, 6 rows. You'd have 6 numbers. You'd just go over to here, click open the next sheet, and you'd put in the numbers. Like what you do to make the CSV, it would be driver, where's the D? One, two, three, 4, right? 4, 5, we need one more. You'd have the 6 drivers, and then you just put their ID numbers here for the 20 down to 21, and that would be a CSV. And then you just go upload it to DraftKings. It's really simple, pretty painless. So that is how that works. So we go over. We got the cash game optimizer. We go ahead and pick what we want from our players. We go over to the multi lineups tab. You got your guys in there, and you every time you click this, you're going to get lineups. And I think one thing you can see here. We go back to this sheet. Let's take a look at that. That one lineup alone, that one click gave us 872 lineups, which is way more than you can enter, as you know. So, I mean, you'll have plenty of lineups. You'll break your eyes before you run out of lineups, which is cool. And you see how quick it does that, too. You just go over and you You know, he won another 872. Boom, there you go. There, it's done. It's done. It's done. It's that fast, which is awesome. Now, the other thing I want to show quickly is, if it's here, let me see. I believe it is. Optimizer. Not on that one. Hold on. And I don't think anybody I've seen on offering optimizers has this. Anybody at all. This is something else. What this is a simulator that's going to simulate. If you notice here, you see this one. This is going to go down. We're going to go down 10,000 simulations of a game. And for example, what we're going to do, like we're going to take a, let's say we're going to look at a racer tonight from one of the drivers from NASCAR. And the last scores were 51, 33, and say 16. Oh, let me back that up. 51, 33, and 16. You put those in. That's all you have to do right there. You put those three scores in. It gives you the average. It gives you the standard deviation. And you click Run Simulate. These numbers are going to be followed out. These are from a leftover guy I just ran. But don't sweat it. Every time you click Run Simulation, it clears it out. It thinks it for you. It gives you the average score of 10,000 games, 35.16 with the standard deviation of 0.32. So that NASCAR guy just ran 10,000 races tonight right here in front of you in split second. Came up with an average point, the average standard deviation. The beauty of this, I think, is because you can use it for golf quickly, too, if you wanted. Like, for example, if you had a guy who was on a course or similar courses, you could look at his history on that, put in his last scores, run 10,000 simulations of that game, and get your answer. I don't know, like I said, I know people offer the optimizers. You see them, they're a dime a dozen, right? You see the optimizers over here. And everybody tells you how their optimizers are. It's Excel Solver. I just made it. That's all. The only difference is it's Excel Solver. I have a video on even how to make this. It's not hard at all. I mean, I know, I understand that. The multi-lineup tab is a little bit harder. Maybe you know how to make it, and maybe you don't. But if you don't, you want this. Because if you play GPPs, why would you want to play GPPs and hand make 200 and something lineups when you can click it like that? It takes all the thought and bias out of everything. It just gives you the lineups. And then, like I said, though, the complete game changer to me is this Run Simulation. I was tempted not to let go of this, but I'm going to because I think it's a game changer. What it is, it's a Monte Carlo simulation, if you guys want to go look that up on YouTube. And it's what was done originally was done for like stock quotes, et cetera, people's retirements, where they would look at the investment over a period of time and create 10,000 simulations of that investment to see how it would fare like the next year. And I saw the video on that, and I says, wait a minute. I wonder if we could use that for DFS. What if we took a guy's track history, say he scores these, when he plays a certain type of track on NASCAR, he runs these scores, right? Let's go look at that one more time. Let's clear this out. So we're clear on this. We got a guy who plays, he's going into the NASCAR race, and he runs on these certain type of tracks. He's done it, and we've noticed he really did well once. He got 113 points. He got 52 points, and then one game he didn't do quite so well. He got 11. You put those in, you clear it out. Immediately it does all the math. You don't need to touch anything. So his average score was 58.66 with the standard deviation of 50. Oh, I'm sorry. The average score was this, and the standard deviation, was 51.32. But what happens when we run this 10,000 times? If he ran this track 10,000 times, how's he going to do? Well, let's find out. He doesn't do too well. Look at that. Well, that ain't good at all, is it? And you say, wait a minute, how come? Well, because in 10,000 simulations, it just didn't pan out for him. All right? You could run it back again and see here. In the next 10,000 simulations, it did. And you say, well, what's the point of that? Because in 20,000 simulations, you still have an average, a very low average on this guy, don't you? See, now this is the thing. Now, if you took, what I might do is I might run it just once because 10,000 simulations is enough for me. But what if you ran this 5 times for each guy and you had 50,000 times you ran it, or 60,000 times, and then you took the average of that? You know, you're locking down. The more you chisel down on this, the more exacting it's going to become. It's inevitable. It's forecasting. That's what it is. Now, you take what I did this weekend is I took, a guy and I said, okay, let's say he had 33 here and he did 12. He did 12 over here, and one day he did pretty well. He got a 78, and then he came up with an average score of 41 with the 33. I said, well, let's run that, and he came up with 34 points. I was taking these as his projections. And that's what I did. I took this as his projection. That was his standard deviation. And I took these projections for each driver. It took me maybe about 25 minutes of sitting there with a cup of coffee, and I did every guy, their last 3 races. And I entered them in. Now you go over to here, and you put them into this, and you run a multiple lineup. I didn't do this, but I'm going to do it next Sunday. I'm absolutely going to do it. And I did do it in the cash game, and I cashed. But, I mean, you dump this in. Imagine you're running now, you give yourself 20, 25, 800 lineups to pick from using a lineup that you made of 10,000 simulations. Who else is doing that? You know what I mean? People are going at, well, I know the wind blows from the southwest, and Denny Hamlin's cousin works at the convenience store and told me. I don't care about any of that. I could care less. That's how you lose your money. You win with the science. It's a science of winning. Could people beat me using this? Yes, because they know NASCAR. I don't know anything about NASCAR. I'm weak at it, to be frank. I play football. Next season, I'm going to make this for football. The only difference is I'm going to put the standard deviation, not the standard deviation, I'm going to put the points per dollar here in this cell. And then I'm going to do a rundown of 10,000 divided into that to see what's the percentage they succeed 3 times value for football. So you'll have 21 points for Tom Brady, and he was 9,000, so he didn't, or let's say he was 7, just to be simple, and he did hit it there, and then we'll run it 10,000 times, and let's say 68% of the time he hits value when you divide it by the 10,000 lineups. If that sounds a little confusing, it doesn't matter. I'll figure it out. I'll do it, and I'll give it to you. We can do it for basketball. We can do it for anything we want. That's the beauty of it. Every sport fits this. But the neat way of doing this right now, because the sports are running, I think, are NASCAR and golf. I'll probably do this weekend with golf as well. I've reached out to that couple of guys on Twitter or whatnot asking what is a good dollar amount, value amount for golf, because I don't know. I mean, I know in football it's 3 times value is what you're looking for. In basketball it's roughly 5 or 6 times value. I don't know what it would be for golf, but if somebody knew and they reached out to me, I'd plug it in and and we'd play it, and I'd share the lineups with them too if you help me, because we're gonna hit. I know it. But anyways, here we have we got a simulator. So we take these points, you know what I mean? We say, okay, we got Mike Smith. He's driving the thing here. He's got 66 points the first time around and 12. See how easy this is? And 33. You're done. You've done all the work you have to do there, right there. In fact, let's make this yellow, right? So people know. You don't have to. All you do is write that. You don't touch this. Don't touch that. Oh, let's run a simulation on that. Let's see how he does. Oh. Not too hot on this one. 77% reliability there, whatever. Okay, so what I'm thinking about here, let's get down to brass tacks. Like I said, this is a game changer alone. I know it is. And this can only be built upon. This is in infancy stages. And I don't know anybody that's offering this. Go look around. Nobody has it. And if they have it, they're not going to share it with you. I will. They have this. Let's take the multi-lineups tab. And let's go ahead and we'll throw in the, as you know, I'm going to throw in the regular optimizer. And what do we got? We've got one. We've got an optimizer for cash games, right? We've got the multi-lineups tab for entering into the large tournaments. We've got this to make the projections. We can chisel down 10,000, go 5 times, go 10 times, go 100,000 times if you want on it. If you're bored and you feel like clicking away at it, you can. Who can do that? You know what I mean? Oh, man, I got a cup of coffee and a board. I don't know. Let's see, this guy did 33 last time he drove that track. He did 10, and he had that great day over there. That's right. He got an 89. That was good for him. Well, let's see how he does here. Well, let's run it and find out. Boom. How's 67 points sound? Oh, yeah. You know what? That might be something we'd want to see. There you go. You put those in as your projections. You dump them into here. You come up with 250 lineups, 20 lineups, depending on the size of the tournament you want. Throw your cash game in. I'll tell you a little secret, too, what I do is I do this one first to see what the optimal high score is. And then when I go do this and I take these points over like I did here, you you guys notice, when I carried these over, the high point was 484. I tried to shoot for the optimal high score under that the original optimizer. So I'm in that higher end of range on points. But you don't have to, but I do. All right? So here's what I'm thinking. We're going to go the simulator, which I know that's worth a lot of money. The multi-tab with the optimizer for this. Golf is separate. I'll let the whole thing go for $20. How's that sound? If you reach out to me and you say, yeah, I want this, it's a $20 flat fee. I'll give you this with the multi-lineups tab and the simulator. The whole thing's $20 for the season. I'm not going to be updating this every week. I'm going to give it to you. If it breaks or you have a problem or something, give it back to me. And we'll talk on the phone or through text or something. I'll fix it for you a couple of times. If you keep breaking it, I'm going to assume you don't know how to use it. And I mean, I can't spend my life correcting errors all the time. I just told you, don't only draw here. You know somebody's going to go over and write into here. I guarantee it. But, you know, if you just put your last 3 races in or your last 3 golfs in and you make that simulation, I think you're going to be happy with what you come up with. You run them into the lineups. Your multi-lab time, make your multiple lineups, enter your optimizer, get a strong. Let's see if we can get a strong sensation of what's a high-end lineup for us. So we gotta have a figure to shoot for, even if we don't want to play that specific lineup. It tells you what the highest numbers can be out of the projections. Nothing wrong with that, right? So, okay, that's where I am with that. I'm going to. One thing I got to give you a common note here is when you open this. You do not want to open this scene, this section, okay, with the optimizer open at the same time. And I'll tell you why. This has so much information in it, and I mean an awful lot of information backed into it, that it bogs down the other spreadsheets. So you literally, I know it's kind of a pain, but that's life. You use this first. Make your projections. Write them down into your DraftKings sheet or wherever you want. Close it. Then go into your optimizer and build off of that. All right? All right, guys, so that's where I am with that. I'm going to close this out. It's about 18 minutes long almost. Thank you for everything. God bless Boston. And if you're interested, like I said, hit me up. I think $20 it's a very interesting price for a whole season. We've got several more months of this left.